Hey guys, my name is Big Tino and welcome back to From the Depths. We are under attack immediately from several Lightning Hoods fleets heading towards us in the north, up in our old White Flares territory, interestingly enough. Now, I'd like to start by apologizing for the delay in this episode. I know it's been several days since I last posted an episode, and I really do try to keep as consistent as possible, but over the weekend, we were actually hit by a really bad blizzard, and I lost power for several days and had to go stay with a friend. And the power's back on, everything's fine, but it took some time to get things situated after that. So we are in this battle with just our Cornugon up here that's defending this area, and we're against a Crossbolt and a Terawatt. So we are outnumbering them a good bit, both in points and in volume. But as you can see, we are surrounded by land, which is not good for us, as we have discovered in the past. So what I'm going to do is probably just turn off this thing's engines, let it shoot, and we'll go from there. Because this thing is pretty beefy even when it's just stationary. So let's switch our AI over to on. And there we go, firing already. This shouldn't be too much of a problem for the Cornugon to handle. Looks like we're already getting some decent hits in there. Our railgun shots coming in. The railguns shouldn't have too much of a hard time tracking these ships. I don't think they're super fast. Already dealing a good bit of damage there. And we're not really taking much at all. Our missiles are coming in. Looks like maybe we'll get some hits. Yeah, looks like we're getting a couple of hits with our missiles there. There we go. We sort of bypassed their missile shielding, although it looks like they might be bypassing our missile shielding as well soon. Here, I'll turn off that UI. There's a lot going on there. Let's see how our missile shielding works. Looks like, yeah, it looks like they broke through our missile shielding as well, although I believe their missiles are a little weaker than ours. That didn't seem to hurt all too much. Let's see. It looks like we have done a fair bit of damage to the Teravolt already. Some good explosions going on the inside there. More missiles coming in to hit us. We're down to 98% there. Looks like we did just lose a gun. What I may do is pilot this thing manually. So let's give it a little gas. Maybe not full speed. We'll give it a little gas, and we'll go on manual pilot just so we can avoid the terrain, because I still have not programmed or rebuilt this thing in any way that would help it to not blow itself up by hitting land. Because again, this is the first opportunity I've really had to play this game since probably Thursday of last week. It's currently Wednesday of the week following. So again, I am very sorry for that delay there. Looks like we are getting some more good hits there. We are just avoiding that land, which is nice. Nice explosions over there on that, which I believe, what's it called? That is the Crossbolt. The Terawatt's already up there. We already have the Crossbolt down below 90%, which is nice. The Cornugon's attacks are interesting because they're not particularly they're not particularly impressive to look at. They don't have the giant explosions or huge amount of DACA that my other ships normally have. Let's cut our drives a little bit so we don't run into this mountain. This is why we're on manual. Yeah, even though we're not getting these massive explosions against the enemy, we are doing a good bit of damage, which is nice. And as soon as I'm sure we're going to clear this mountain, I will go over there and check out to see what we're doing against those ships. Doesn't look like they're doing a whole lot against us. We are still at 100% health. This thing is very well shielded against... well, unlike the Dark Mantle, it's actually well shielded against everything, but it's also well protected against lasers because it does have lots and lots and lots of internal smoke, as well as some external smoke, and Strength 10 external laser shielding, which is nice. And this thing, while it does eat fuel like crazy, it still is able to last a good bit longer than the Dark Mantle. Alright, it does look like we have shut down the Crossbolt. So we're going to fire on the Terawatt for a bit. And if I can, I would like to go and capture at least one of these ships just for the resources of it. After the the last battle that I had against the Lightning Hoods went well, but I still lost several ships. And so I'd like to recoup those losses if I can. Let's see. Are they still... Well, he's still shooting missiles at me, so I don't want to turn off my weapons just yet. Let's see. We're at about half speed right now. Or half of our engine power. So we're actually being pretty fuel efficient. Let's go ahead and cut the drive. Pull up right next to it. And let's pause. Let's take a look at what we have done to this enemy ship. Yeah. Looks like we have just about stripped it. Where are those missiles? Oh, the missiles come from inside this little shielded compartment. That's cool. I like that. And of course the crossbolt over here is pretty well shut down. It's not even moving. So let's give it just a little longer, just to make sure that we're not being cheaty when we capture these things. And then I'll grab them. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna... that pretty well wrecked that ship, I think. Well, it's still going pretty quickly. Maybe we'll shoot it a little more. Shoot it just a tad more. I was kind of hoping these things would beach themselves, because that makes capturing really easy. No, don't shoot at the crossbolt. I think the crossbolt is probably disintegrating at this point. And hey, we can turn in place, which is nice. Well, I might not be capturing either of these things. Alright, yeah, let's turn off again. It's not telling me that the crossbolt is too damaged. Alright, so tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut out this bit where I go and chop my way into the AI and destroy that, because I don't like watching that, and I'm sure you don't either. So I will be back once I have finished this battle one way or the other, because we're pretty much done with it. They're not hurting us. We're fine on resources. I would just like to collect these ships if I can. So I'll be right back. Well, unfortunately, I wasn't able to capture either one of them. They both were very, very fast moving right up until the point when they died. So I suppose I'll try again here. It looks like these two ships here, the Scorpion and the Crossbolt, are spawning quite close to a mountain here, so I might get lucky and they could just beach themselves, which I don't want to be cheesy here, but the Cornugon does win pretty handily against these particular ships, so I'm not too concerned about that. I mostly just want to get my resources back so that I can, you know, carry on with my offensive against the Lightning Hoods. So let's get into it. And we'll see how we do. I mean, I know we're going to do well as long as our fuel holds out, which at the moment we're actually quite low on fuel, as you can see. So I'm going to keep this thing weapons only, or off entirely at the moment until they come around the corner there. Now I'll go on weapons only. And hopefully my fuel will hold, because this thing does unfortunately need fuel to stay in the water, at least to stay above the water, as I've seen before. This thing, if it runs out of fuel, will just completely, you know, go down into the abyss, into the depths, you could say. So we'll focus on the crossbolt first, hopefully destroy that thing pretty quickly. And then maybe the Scorpion might be stuck. So what I'm going to do is, while we are blasting away at the crossbolt, I'm going to swim on over there and see if I can do something about that, because a good 260,000 resources at this point would be nice, and that would let me build a second Dark Mantle to use in our offensive, because right now I've got one Dark Mantle built, one that's destroyed, and the Cornugon down for our offensive, so I could really use the resources. We're not really taking any damage here. Crossbolt's getting pretty badly hurt, and the Scorpion is still stationary. So again, really hoping that means that he's stuck. That would be nice. Lots of lasers zipping by around me here. by the way. I'm really hoping one of them doesn't just sort of pop me in the face, because that will just straight up kill me. How we doing? Oh, it looks like maybe it's gotten free. It might be a little underwater. I'm actually going to cut this bit out here because I know I don't like watching people bob around in the water like this. So I'll be back when something a little more interesting happens. Okay, we've got a scorpion dead in the water there that I am hoping to simply be able to leap onto as we pass by. As we come very, very close to it. Unfortunately, the crossbolt did become too damaged and simply disintegrated, but hopefully I can capture this scorpion. If I can just get on board, I think I'll be okay, because I've pretty well disabled this thing's weapons. You can see every now and then it gives me a little bit of a laser jolt, but that's about it. Come on, magnetize. Okay, we have magnetized. So, I will be back after I have finished this battle. Unfortunately, we are going down. Its last AI core is in there, behind all that heavy armor, but this thing is disintegrating. And will finish disintegrating long before I can finish destroying it. So, another ship I haven't captured. Alas. Well, I'll get some resources. Hopefully I'll be able to refuel the Cornugon a little bit. That would be lovely. But, you know, we'll see. Farewell, Scorpion. Farewell. Okay, last of these battles where they are attacking us. Thankfully, I was able to get back very briefly and refuel, so we should be, if not at full fuel, then at pretty good fuel. I think I'm just going to give up on trying to capture these things unless one presents me with a very good opportunity. So we're fighting 3 terawatts and a tachyon, which means they're actually beating us in terms of point cost, although we are still beating them in terms of volume. And I am going to keep the battle size to about 90, just, again, for performance's sake. So let's get into this, and hopefully we'll finish off these guys without too much trouble. The terawatt is not something that's given us really any difficulty in the slightest so far. The tachyon is not something we've really faced all that much. I know we've seen it a couple of times. Here it is, this lovely flyer here. Let's unpause this so that terrible and grating engine noise stops. And hopefully we're able to hit the thing. That would be really, really nice if we were able to hit this thing. It looks like a couple of our shots are going a bit short. Could sure use a Dark Mantle right about now. The Dark Mantle would absolutely obliterate the tachyon, although it looks like our missiles might be doing a pretty good job of tracking this thing. I'm impressed. At least we got one hit there. Looks like that stripped a lot of blocks off, although it also looks like the tachyon is actually faster than our missiles, although I think we got a railgun hit there because there's a nice big internal explosion going on. We're still at 99% health. And we're on combat. I'm going to turn this on to on, take manual control, and once again stop us from careening into a mountain. Because that is, hands down, the bane and the biggest threat to this craft. Ooh, looks like we lost our primary railgun there. That's a shame. That's going to be hard to replace with what few resources we have. And that is a lot of missiles hitting us in the side there. We're down to 94%. We might actually lose this fight. I was just bad-mouthing the terawatt, but I guess without any resources for repair and without a ton of fuel, the Cornugon is a little vulnerable, as we can see by the absolute destruction being wreaked on us here. And yeah, we're at 0 resources now. Yeah, I think honestly we could have taken that tachyon eventually, but it does look like the terawatts are doing very, very bad things to us. Couple of internal explosions going on here. Some of the engines are revealed of the Cornugon. We are sinking. We're sinking. Why are we sinking? We have plenty of fuel. I think we may have just lost enough engine power to where we can't sustain the rudders keeping us, or the rotors rather, keeping us in the air above the water. So yeah, I think this is gonna do us in for the Cornugon. Maybe, or I mean, we're coming back up out of the water. It's struggling. We're already down to 86%. Yeah, I don't foresee us winning this, honestly. We just had too many fights going on too rapidly, and I wasn't able to get any resources. If we had some resources, I'm pretty sure we would have won this pretty easily, but unfortunately, we did not. So yeah, I'm afraid this may be it. For this Cornugon, anyway. Honestly, this is one of two. The worst part is that that means I'm going to lose this resource deposit that this Cornugon was defending. So I'm going to have to come back and reclaim it. But, you know, I can probably have some reserves do that. And in the next battle, I'll just go ahead and launch my offensive against the Lightning Hoods. I suppose we can't completely give up. Got that Tachyon down to 97%. We're doing some decent damage to the Terrawat, and it looks like it might actually ram into the mountain itself. Oh, our poor railgun here is just sort of sitting sadly broken as these lasers tear this thing apart, and the missiles. Honestly, it was more the missiles. There were so many missiles there, and I think because we had already our engines were already damaged, we weren't able to protect ourselves against the missiles like we normally would be able to. So we'll give this a glorious last stand and see how we do. Well, one of the Terrawats is going to ram into the mountain, but it's not the one that I was expecting. Let's see if they get as much damage as we normally do. Yep. That looks like it's going to sting. And you know what? I don't even feel bad about this. Normally, I'd feel bad about something like this. It's like, hey, that's kind of cheesy. That ship's destroying itself on a mountain. But you know how many times the Cornugon has destroyed itself on a mountain? A lot. A whole lot. And so I'm just going to feel no guilt whatsoever as this thing just sort of rakes itself across the mountain. It lost about 10% health there, and it's about to lose more as it careens into the side there. This ship might actually blow up, which would be lovely. It is taking tons and tons of damage from that mountain. What are we down to? We're hurting. We're at 76%. And the Terrawat's gonna free willy over the rest of the mountain, possibly launching itself into space. I'm not sure if this thing has enough thrust with just its back thruster here to, you know, send it into space, but it certainly did a number on itself. That is for sure. And kerplunk. And it's just going to scrape its way down the side of the mountain, which is lovely. We are down to 73%. Yeah, these things are obliterating me. I really do need to get to more resources. I think I've been a little reckless in terms of my attacks. I haven't sat down and just let my resources refill, so I may just need to do that. I will certainly need to send something to collect the resources here. But as we watch the Cornugon fall into pieces, I am unfortunately all out of time. I am going to cut the episode here, and I know this is going to be a short one as we watch the last stand of the Cornugon, but I simply do not have the time for it. Work has been crazy because we've missed so many days from the snow and all that sort of stuff. So I am going to have to call the episode here. But thank you so much for watching. In the next episode, I promise we'll make some progress against the Lightning Hoods. I know we haven't really, but I'd like to, in the next episode, get some good progress against them. And then in the episode after that, go ahead and take them out. So I'll be doing a good bit of fighting off camera in order to make that happen. But again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.